The fashion industry is one of the world's largest polluters, from producing 20% of global wastewater and releasing 500,000 tonnes of microfibers into the ocean every year. The environmental impact of creating clothes is severely damaging to the planet. But how exactly can we stop fashion waste from ending up in landfills? Meet Jess O'Riley, founder of J.O.Studio, a sustainable clothing brand that makes fashion out of tents.
I was in a campsite and I was in a bin area, just like putting my rubbish away, and someone had left a brand new festival tent in the bin area, and it made me think about sort of the wider issue of festival tent waste.
Jess decided that upcycling was a sustainable answer to creating new clothes without the waste. But how do you go from tent to fashion?
I basically take the tents and stitch like different shapes onto them with a bit of wadding, which gives them a bit of volume, and it gets some really interesting design details in it. And this idea of quilted tents is something that I still do today, and I make other products with it. So I sell like little wash bags made out of tents. So yeah, it's kind of this idea that's really shaped my brand.
I was wondering, what are the benefits of using, these sustainable materials? Like, how good do you think this is for the environment?
Well, it directly saves materials going from landfill, which is really great. And it's also a really interesting way of educating people about their festival tent waste. So demonstrating to them that their materials that they leave behind actually do have sort of a life beyond their wastage. So yeah, it's really about directly saving fabric, but also educating the general public about something that they might not have previously considered.
From bags to coats and even to parachute pants, Jess has truly proved that there is nothing she can't make out of a tent. However, despite her efforts, she still has concerns about the fashion industry's impact on the planet.
I mean, water pollution, rainforests destroying, all these things, like the resource depletion that comes from creating virgin fibres, and then at the end of their life, them ending up in landfill or getting incinerated or ending up in the water system. Virgin textiles is just so bad for our environment. So it's really hard for me to understand why we're so dependent on it still, when we've got such a sort of abundance of ready-made textiles that could be really easily used.
With the fashion industry's current reliance on synthetic fibres and promotion of throwaway culture, it continues to be responsible for the majority of the pollution on the planet. I decided to visit Manchester Fashion Institute to speak to Principal Lecturer in Fashion Buying and Sustainability Lead Clare McTurk about whether the industry is currently doing enough to tackle these issues.
There is a long way to go with the fashion industry in what they are doing. There are a lot of companies that are doing a lot of really good things. And there's a lot of recycling going on with things like cleaning up oceans and taking those nets and those things that they find and actually putting them into fashion garments. So there are, but it's small scale. The issue that we have is consumers throw things in the bin. And if something gets thrown in the bin, it goes straight to landfill. If they recycle it and take it to a recycling point, then let the recycler decide where it should go next, because they're the ones that are qualified to do it. And if we can get consumers doing a little bit more about that, we can then move things in a different direction. So yeah, there are things that are good that are happening, but there's still a long way to go.
92 million tonnes of textile waste is produced every year by the fashion industry, and with the rise of unsustainable materials and one-use items, the damages can be dangerous. Perhaps next time before you throw out those garments, try making them into something stylish and new instead. Sophie Cross, Cityscope News.